From script to screen, every film is brought to life by visionary creatives and executives, all sharing one mission: to captivate the audience. Hosted by award-winning movie strategist Kevin Goetz, our podcast, Don't Kill the Messenger, offers a filmmaking masterclass through intimate conversations with Hollywood's most influential voices. And now, your host, Kevin Goetz.
I am fascinated by the paths that successful producers take. When you graduate from college, you rarely know exactly where you'll end up, right? You may have a plan, but careers often unfold through unexpected opportunities, chance encounters, and instincts that only make sense in hindsight. My guest today is a perfect example. After graduating from law school, he wasn't immediately producing movies. He was working at a law firm. But then a move to Los Angeles led him to an unlikely job as a script tracker, ultimately starting his own platform, giving him a front row seat to the information and deal-making that drives Hollywood. And his ingenuity didn't stop there. Roy built a reputation for finding opportunities where others saw risk, creating one of the most unconventional producing careers in town. Whether adapting international films, championing horror, or identifying emerging trends, he's often ahead of the curve. Along the way, he helped bring films to audiences around the world, including The Ring, The Grudge, the Oscar-winning The Departed, It, Dr. Sleep, The Lego Movie, How to Train Your Dragon, and a Minecraft movie. Roy, I can't tell you how excited I am to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So, Roy, we are cut from very similar cloth in terms of our entrepreneurial spirit. Have you always had that?
I think so. I always just did things whatever I felt like and felt right and just went with the flow all the time.
Your dad was a doctor.
Yes.
Your mother was a stay-at-home mom?
School teacher.
She was a school teacher?
Yes.
She wanted you to be a minister, I understand.
She's very religious.
What religion?
She was a Baptist.
Wow.
Yes.
And so did you go to any kind of seminary school or theological school? Or?
That was her desire. I had no interest in it whatsoever. She always tried to get me to go to church. It was just not my thing.
You have siblings?
I have a brother.
And was it his thing?
No, he's a doctor.
He's a doctor?
He is a doctor.
Did your dad pressure you to be a doctor?
He did not. He didn't really have any opinion of what I should do, just as long as I was making a living.
How did you fall into law?
That was just something where it felt like the thing to do at the time. I just knew a lot of other people that were lawyers or going to law school, and it was near a house that I was living in D.C.
If I told the 10-year-old Roy that you would have produced The Ring, The Grudge, It, Minecraft, Lego, and the success of those, what would you have thought at that age?
I wouldn't think it'd be totally crazy. I mean, it'd just be something I did.
Really?
Yeah.
It sounds like you just didn't really know exactly what you wanted to do. You kind of went with the flow.
Yes.
So did you see movies as a kid? Did you like movies?
I like movies, but I don't think I studied them. I remember seeing the movies that my mother would take us to. I remember seeing horror movies very young, just because of the religious aspect of movies like The Exorcist and The Omen. I would see those with my mother.
Like how old were you?
I'd say under 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she's religious?
It was more like to scare me into like, this is what the devil is like. And
Something strikes me about you, and I've said it to you before. To me, you are one of the most interesting men that I've encountered, sort of enigmatic, kind of mysterious. You don't seem to want to be in the spotlight. That's what I get from you. You are very much a behind-the-scenes kind of person.
Yes.
How does it feel being on the podcast right now? Are you comfortable with this format, or is it because we're friends that you're saying, oh, okay, I'm going to do this for Kevin?
Yes, you asked me to, and I did it. But I generally don't do a lot of interviews.
I know you don't, which I so appreciate. I am in awe of what you've done. I'm also in awe of the way you did it and the way you approached it. And that's kind of what I wanted to unpack today, because I think that's sort of the most interesting thing, kind of your path You must have an extraordinary intellect. You must have an IQ that's off the charts. Have you ever had it tested? I'm really serious.
No.
You have the left and right brain going like in equal measure, which is a very rare trait. You started this business that really changed the way script tracking was done. So you come to Hollywood and you become a script tracker.
Well, yeah, a development executive at a production company where I had to know what the scripts, the manuscripts, and all the new projects that are coming out of the agencies and management companies and publishing companies.
What kind of company was it?
It was a company called Alphaville. It was a production company.
Who was running it?
Sean Daniel and Jim Jacks.
I love those guys. Jim, of course, passed away. Can you tell me when you left there and why you left to start your own tracking business?
The tracking was done while I was at the company. It was more of a...
But wasn't it your own sort of invention? Like, this is so inefficient?
It was because like part of the job was to just know what the projects were that were coming out. And so we would, at the time, would spend the whole day calling other people in town and just getting their information and just forming your own little group of people that would share information, that would have deals at other studios. So you wouldn't necessarily compete with them at your own studio. Our deal was at Universal. So I would get to know somebody at Sony and somebody at Fox and somebody at Disney so that I would know what they would be receiving or know what the other people were receiving. And then we just put up a report at the end of the day and show what is out there. Or at the end of the week, you'd have the whole week's.
Yeah, but you ended up commercializing it.
Well, what changed was that people were maybe doing emails and just putting it there. I had created a database where it was a centralized
repository.
Yeah, one-page document that all of us could edit, put our comments to, as opposed to spending 8 hours a day. We could just go to this document, all share this one document, put up our information, and it would change it to 30 minutes a day.
And did you make money from that?
Yeah, about $60,000 every time I asked for like people to send me $100. At its peak, there were about 600 different executives on it, and I would just say, "Can you send me $100 just to expense it?"
And Alphaville didn't mind you doing that?
I just didn't tell anybody.
Oh my God, I love you.
It was just like one of these things where I just
right, and you were benefiting them.
Yeah, this saved them a lot of time. So I had to deposit it in less than $10,000 increments, but my mailbox would be filled with $100 checks.
That's incredible. Did you ever think about like selling it?
We did sell it eventually.
Who's we?
Well, when I was at Bender Spink, I was doing the tracking board there, and I sold it to a company called iFilm, which was a part of CNET, I think at the time.
They were the owner of the company that I was at called OTX.
Yes.
That was in 2003 when I joined OTX from NRG. Mm-hmm. That's so funny.
Yeah.
iFilm was the company that Shelley Zalis sold OTX to, and then online research was sort of born. OTX is Online Testing Exchange.
Yeah.
So iFilm was the perfect place to sell that. So let's go to how you began as a producer. What attracted you to talent? You kind of came into it from an interesting way.
Well, I was just looking for other areas that people weren't looking. And at the time, like 2001, 2000, there wasn't streaming, so you couldn't see all these foreign films, like the Asian films, other than through film festivals.
Did you like Asian films?
I had not seen any of them other than the Godzilla ones that were released theatrically. And,
like the Japanese versions.
Just like I wouldn't say I'd see anything but those, and maybe rarely saw any Asian
Were your
films.
Parents first generation?
Yes.
Korean?
Yes.
Ah. Did you watch Korean films?
Never had seen one. So, yeah, I was just looking at other areas and also seeing that the development to production conversion rate was under 5%. So, like, of all the projects that were set up at a studio, if you set up a studio...
You mean in Hollywood?
In Hollywood,
oh,
yes.
Got it.
So you would set up a project and you'd read about it, but less than 5% of those get made from the announcement to production.
Now, I've never heard that figure. That's a very interesting figure. I wonder what it actually is that are not reported.
Yes, it's much lower.
Of course.
And so that's where I realized at the time I'd have to do at least 20 development projects to get one made.
Oh, you're speaking my language, Roy. And also, I once had a slide in a presentation called Sundance or Vegas. And I proved how Vegas was more advantageous if you wanted to play the odds.
Yes.
And I really proved it because there was X number of submissions and this many got picked up and this many worked for the festival, and then this many got seen, and this many got awarded, and this many got finally sold, and it was minuscule. So that's a really interesting way to look at it, because now you're saying, how am I going to be in this conversation? And it was about volume.
Yes.
20, you figured, projects?
Yeah, so I just decided to go get the rights to 25 Asian film titles.
What'd you get?
The Ring, The Grudge, The Departed, Eight Below, Lake House, The Eye.
Who were you working for at this time?
I was just working for myself.
So you left Bender Spinks by now.
I was working at their offices.
But you were working with them or for them?
With them.
At one point, you were working
Yes.
with them. So now you have offices. You're on your own now. And how'd you pay for these?
I didn't have to pay for them at all. I just got them the deals in order to, just like when a producer gets a script, they don't pay for the script when they set it up for development. The studio pays the screenwriter.
Well, you certainly do it if you're an independent. I've optioned many things in my life.
Yeah, I was wanting to be a studio producer.
Aha, hold on. You made a decision that you were not going to do this independently, that you were going to go set them up big.
Yes.
And make big bet movies.
Yes.
That's also a very interesting choice that you made.
So that's why I wouldn't pay for them. I would have a studio pay for them. And so because of the fact that I had created that tracking board system, I had known 600 executives and producers, other people in town, in order to just get access to and people.
A meeting,
or they also knew I had knowledge of what is going on around town.
Interesting. So as a young guy coming up in the business, I would work on the guest list at screening events in my early years at NRG. And I wanted to do that job because guess what? I had to check everyone in. So I knew who was who. Aha, that's that guy. Oh, that's Barry Diller. Oh, that whoever it is. And as a result of that, I would strike up conversations. And then I would see them again, and then again, and then again. And then they would see me in the theater seating them. And then they would see me coordinating focus groups. And then they would see me moderating focus groups. So they watched my evolution. And we're talking only 2-3 years. And then I became sort of the moderator that people started requesting. And that's because of building relationship early on. And you built relationships early on. What was your first sale? Who did you sell it to?
DreamWorks.
Walter Parks specifically?
Yes.
Did you get in a meeting with Walter Parks?
No. Mark Surian was an executive there who lived less than a mile away from me.
And you knew him from the business?
He was in my specific tracking group.
Got it. And so you said, hey, I got something. Can I come in and talk with you? I
actually just went over to his house and watched the movie with him.
And he said what afterwards?
He said, let's get the rights and remake it.
Wow. What'd they pay for him, remember?
$1.3 million.
You are kidding me. That much?
Mm-hmm.
And how many subsequent movies did it spawn?
3 so far. We're working on another one.
And that meant you were kissed in for...
Yes.
That is just great, Roy. And then you do the same with The Grudge.
Yes.
The Departed. Lake House, you moved Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock?
Yes.
God, I've worked on every one of these movies. You and I have seen each other a lot over the years. But ironically, as I said earlier, we didn't have that much interaction because you never had bravado. You never needed to be at the center. And you always intrigued me. And it wasn't until recently, and I finally shared that with you. And maybe you were surprised. I mean, we've had a lunch before, but we never really palled around. And I hope that changes. So, although you have kids, and I don't think you pal around that much.
I don't go out that much.
I know. How old are your kids?
I have a 20, a 22, and a 7.
Wow, that's a big age difference.
Second marriage.
Are you close with all the kids?
Yeah.
Your kids want to be in the business, the older ones?
The oldest is actually working on the first movie set starting this weekend. She's the assistant for the director of the movie. It's called 4x4.
And that's one of yours?
Yes.
You typically executive produce, not produce?
I don't really care. I just like whatever.
It's not about caring. I mean, how involved are you?
In various involvement. Because this year we have about 18 different productions, so I can't really be involved with everything.
What's the name of your company?
Vertigo.
Vertigo has 18
Some are sequels,
pictures.
some are
Who
TV
cares?
shows.
I mean, who has 18 projects? How many people work for Vertigo?
6 people. But that's why we have partners on things, and we're just involved with all these.
Look at him. Listeners, again, the sweetest man. Do you ever get angry?
I try to go a whole year without losing my temper with somebody, but like every now and then I do get angry.
You don't have to give me a name, but you're so even-tempered. I want to know when you lost it. Over what situation?
Well, somebody called and accused me of doing something.
Like wrong.
Wrong.
And you don't play that game.
Yeah.
Who runs your company? Other than yourself, obviously.
Well, everyone can do whatever they want in terms of the amount of how much they want to participate on projects.
Is he a dream or what? Okay, God. I have so many questions. I'd like to know what it is about your spidey sense or your gut brain that tells you that something's going to work. Give me either the visceral, the intellectual, is it both? Process that you go through after reading a script.
Well, I always want to love a script.
I mean, let's stop right there. That alone is very revealing that you always want to love a script. I just came back from a lunch meeting before this podcast, and one of the things we talked about was how most people want to say no. They don't want to say yes. Yes is very scary. No is the easy thing, is to say, well, we have something like it. Well, we this, well, that. But to get people to a yes is a different kind of commitment, isn't it? And you say yes out of the gate.
I want to.
I understand.
But it's not often the case.
That's a different story.
I would say like when I start reading a script, so I read between 4 and 6 a.m. every day. I read the first act of pretty much all the scripts, unless I know immediately that's not something I would like. If I don't really care what's going to happen with the rest of the characters or the situation, then even if it's written incredibly well, it's not for me. I just would stop reading.
I know people that will read the first act and then they'll read kind of the last 10 pages if they're not interested to see if, my God, did I miss something? You don't even go there.
If I don't care after the first act, I just stop.
Wow.
Yeah. And if I do like it, but I could predict the whole movie or know sort of how the rest of the movie goes, I don't want to do it either. It's when it takes me in a direction that I didn't expect, but fits within the logic of the story. That's when I would get really excited about it.
You seem to have a proclivity towards horror.
I just like horror in general, but there's other things.
Thank Mom for that from The Exorcist and The Omen.
Possibly.
It had to make an impression on you as a young boy somehow.
And Stephen King. I read Stephen King when I was really young.
Were you a reader, yeah?
Yeah.
What's Stephen King's, like Pet Sematary?
Pet Sematary was actually the first book I read.
I love that one.
Yeah.
What other? Misery?
Misery, I didn't find that scary. The Shining and It and things like that.
Oh, It. How did you do it?
That was more, at the time, Dan Lin was an executive at Warner Brothers. And since I was close with him.
Call out to you, Dan. He's a great guy.
Yes. And so he was the exec, and then we produced the Lego Movie together, Godzilla together, It together. When he left the studio, he partnered with me on lots of projects.
How inventive was his whole jam over there in that campus he built?
Right back.
I mean, that was cool. Did you spend a lot of time there? I imagine you did.
I go speak at some of their events, yes. I think they were called salons.
I didn't even know they did those. So It, you partnered with Dan Lin, who had the rights to that book.
At the time, people didn't realize that Warner Brothers did own the rights because it was made by a television company for ABC. So people just assumed it was ABC, and it was actually done by Lorimar, which was then acquired by Warner Brothers. At the time, it was just sitting in the library. When I first brought it up with Dan, I was like, you guys own the rights.
You mean you knew that going into Dan?
Yes. Well, I had done the research
right.
on how to get the rights.
And Warner's just didn't do anything with it.
They hadn't done anything with it. But at the time, they didn't have a database of things to know what IP they owned. For some reason, they just wanted it to be a little bit harder for people to figure out. It just made people have to work for it, which, if you're lazy, then you'll never figure it out. But it's the people who do the work to find it.
What'd you like about the movie itself?
The difference is that in the book and in the miniseries, it was jumping back and forth in time. And so I proposed just doing the kid's story. And so it was just taking it and breaking it apart and just doing the kid's story as a standalone. I feel like if I really like something, then other people will like it as well. There's no revelation there.
Have you found yourself in terms of what your passion is?
I enjoy what I'm doing, so I guess so. I originally came to Hollywood to work in the music industry.
You did?
Well, I wanted to. I wanted to be an A&R person that finds new bands.
So music is another love of yours? I didn't even know that.
It was, but when I got into film, then I just focused on knowing everything about it.
Well, I believe, and I'm going to go on a limb here, if you're not the best, you are one of the best in terms of your instincts. When we come back, we're going to continue talking to Roy about his extraordinarily successful career, his incredible stomach, brain, those instincts I'm talking about. We'll be back in a moment. Listeners, the Motion Picture and Television Fund is a nonprofit charitable organization that supports working and retired members of the entertainment community. This wonderfully run organization offers assistance for living and aging with dignity and purpose in the areas of health and social services, including temporary financial assistance, case management, and residential living, and has been a crucial lifeline to thousands during and beyond critical times that our industry continues to experience. To learn more, visit mptf.com. Please join me in helping others in our industry during times of need. There are so many ways to offer support and get involved. Thank you. We are back with Roy Lee, someone who I have a great reverence for, mainly because you're a renegade. You don't do things conventionally, and you're so bloody chill, but in a way that I find enviable. You don't like the press. I know you had a pretty extensive New Yorker article written about you, and I think you were not crazy about it for a few reasons, right?
It wasn't the most flattering article.
But how could someone not say flattering things about you? How would they learn anything not flattering about you? You're not exactly a gregarious spirit who's going to spill the beans about this or that, or you certainly feel kind and elegant to me.
Well, I could have a dark side.
I don't see that at all.
Well, if I don't like somebody, I will do things to them that...
Like passive aggressively?
No, overtly. But I wouldn't even care if they knew it was me.
Okay, well, note to self, stay on Roy's good side. Let me turn to something that you know inside and out, movies. And in particular, this new generation coming up. You said two of your kids are ages 20 and 22, who are just sort of making their way into the world. What do you make of their generation and kind of the way they connect with films?
They're telling great stories and creating content for their own generation.
FUBU, for us, by us.
Yes.
And that has great relevance because you saw and got involved in a movie called Barbarian.
Yes. That one was one of those scripts I knew immediately.
How did you know that?
As I was reading it, I was like, oh, I sort of know where this is going to go. Because like when you see the movie, you think that the movie is going to be all about the torture of this woman by
That's
the guy.
fair. That's fair.
And so I was like, the first act, I know what's going to happen. But the characters were written so well. And the dialogue, I knew that there was something layered with.
Where did you get the script?
This was given to me by another producer at Boulder Light.
And said, hey, Roy, I think there's something here.
Yes, because I had met them and they were making a lot of movies that were sub $100,000 and they wanted to break into the studio system to do studio movies, but they were having a difficult time accessing it because they were coming in from a different angle and not having the relationships on the studio level. They were just doing their own tiny indie movies. And so I told them, send me your favorite script and I'll see.
What was your next move after you said, I want to do it? You didn't pay for it again. You went to a studio.
All the studios passed.
Wow.
Yes.
All of them?
All of them. Then we had to do an independent movie.
But you don't do independent movies.
Well, at the time, this was COVID time, I believe, and this will go into a whole different area, but like during COVID, pivoted the company to do smaller crews, limited cast, limited crew. And so I'd be doing movies like Watcher, Stranger Darling.
Did you pay for Barbarian?
No, I would find people who...
Oh, you went to New Regency?
Yeah.
So even then, independently, you went to still get money for it. You weren't going to put your own money in.
Correct.
Have you ever put your own money in a script?
No.
In development? Never?
No.
Insane.
In fact, it was New Regency, when we gave them the script and the budget, they were like, this is too low. You gave us an additional $1 million to make it.
Did you spend it?
We ended up spending it, yes. But I mean, it was $4.5 million, but our budget was originally $3.5 million.
Well, your buddy Jason Blum has done that quite successfully over the years.
But around that time, his was a different model where he would be doing almost like director jails, or who had done at least one successful movie in the past, so that you have some.
But he gave them full control.
Yes.
It wasn't only until the test screening process, not even the first screening, because he allowed them to then work on the movie. But there was a certain point at which then he said, we'll get involved. And then Cooper and Jason and any of the other folks that were at Blumhouse would also be involved in the fixes, the changes, the additions, the whatever they were. Do you do something similar to that? You're more involved?
No, I'm less involved. The scripts that I'd picked were excellent. And so most of them were like first-time filmmakers. And if I could see it on the page, I just sort of know that they could do a great job.
This is your confidence. So everyone passes on Barbarian, but you still know this is a great script. What keeps the energy up so you don't give up on it?
I was 100% sure. Like, it was like one of these things, like I knew it.
And isn't it great to be vindicated?
I guess so.
Oh,
yeah.
Come on. Revenge is a dish best served cold, and the best revenge is a successful movie. Did anyone call you afterwards and say we were bozos?
A few people, yes.
So Zach Kreger came along with the package?
I remember reading it, and
He wrote it.
He wrote it.
But I'm saying you wanted him involved, and you
100%,
and you wanted him to direct it?
100%.
Had he directed anything before?
I did not know he had directed anything before. He had co-directed with some other people, but it didn't matter to me.
At $4.5 million, you're saying it doesn't matter. He knows this script. He knows this.
It could have been 100 million or 2 million. I would have felt the same way because the script was so great.
Is that why you did his next movie?
I was lucky to be involved with his next movie, but
His
yes.
next movie, of course, was
Weapons.
And Weapons got an Academy Award. When Weapons came out, and it got incredible attention, but it was so odd. It was not done before. Is that why you thought it was? Because it felt like, oh, I think I know where this is going. And then it takes this turn.
It does. That's why I loved it.
But did you know it was going to be as commercial, I suppose?
Yes.
Did people take it right away? And this time around, after Barbarian?
I remember distinctly after reading it, I had told Zach that he was going to get $10 million for it. And his agent said, stop saying that to him because it's raising expectations beyond what is realistic.
And he got $10 million.
He did.
You're developing Gladys now?
Yes.
Is Gladys a prequel?
Technically, I guess it could be. It's events before Weapons, but it's not necessarily a prequel.
You're now working with Zach on a movie that we're both working on, Resident Evil. You are reinventing, reimagining the franchise.
Yes.
In a completely fresh and new way.
Resident Evil is going to surprise a lot of people, and I think people are going to love it.
I worked on the movie, and I can't talk about the movie, but tell me why you think they're going to love it.
It depicts Resident Evil in a way that people won't know what to expect. And it's one of these things where it's so much fun to just go for the ride.
I'm going to stop for a second to say that this is not an accident, folks. I'm a big believer in you couldn't be the identifier of this material. You couldn't be in touch with this newer generation if you didn't have this authenticity. And I was on Matt Bellany the other day, and we had this whole conversation about Gen Z. And I talked about what I've learned through data, that authenticity is the single most important thing. But you, my friend, possess it.
I look at it this way. Some people have taste and some people don't. And I believe I do have good taste.
You have both good taste and commercial taste, because I know a lot of people who do have good taste, but no one's going to see it. And you somehow have the left and right brain that you can identify. Not only is it a good script, but people are going to love it. Now, for you, that may feel one and the same, but it's not for everybody, I can assure you. You know what I mean?
I guess so. When I saw Infernal Affairs.
Infernal Affairs.
Infernal Affairs.
Not Internal Affairs.
Correct.
And that was a Hong Kong movie?
Yes.
And it ended up being?
The Departed.
The Departed, which won the Oscar.
Yes. When I saw that movie for the first time, I knew immediately it was a home run. There's no doubt in my mind this would be an amazing movie. And there was no question in my mind. It was just like we had to do it. And so then I just aimed high from putting it together. And so when it was originally set up, I went to Brad Pitt first. And he saw it, and that's why he's a producer on the movie.
Boy, you called it. So zooming out, let's go back to your first projects. When you did your first 25,
Yes, the 25 Asian films for 25 months straight.
wait a minute, you made all of them?
Oh, no, we only made 18 of them. But
Hold on. You had 25 rights to Asian movies that you set up 18 of them?
No, I set up all 25, made 18 of them.
I've never heard that. Is it just because after the 7th or 8th, they would just come to you and they did whatever you sort of wanted them to do?
No, I had already amassed the collection and I just spaced it out because I didn't want to have too many at the same time. So I would just do one a month.
I'm curious, give me one that never got made.
My favorite one that didn't get made was called The Chaser.
Why?
It was a hard movie to get made because the lead character was a pimp for a studio movie. And you can't make a big studio production with a pimp as
Can
the
someone
lead.
make it now?
Yes, I would revive it, but I'm pretty much moving past, because after the 25, I was moving on to different, like right now I'm in 25 video games. So I'm just doing different things.
Tell me about Minecraft. How did a Minecraft movie get made?
That one just went through starts and stops over the years, but it was one of these things where my daughters were obsessed with the game. It was in early access, so it was on Steam. And so it was before it blew up. And at the time I was working on the Lego movie, and Notch, who had created the game, I reached out to him. He wanted to discuss it.
But others had discussed it before.
No.
No one ever approached him about a
The
movie?
only other person was Jill Messick, who I then partnered with, and she has now passed away.
What about Legendary? How'd you get them on?
They came on after the fact.
And then what happened?
Five Nights was put in turnaround. Nintendo went to Universal.
Five Nights at Freddy's was also there?
Yep.
But you didn't do Five Nights.
I know. I had it at Warner Brothers.
How did it get out in turnaround?
They just dumped it.
And who picked it up? Jason?
Jason did.
You loved it, didn't you?
I don't know if I loved the script, but I just knew that it was something my daughters were obsessed with as well.
I know. How do you find video games? What's your process?
I go with what is popular.
But once it's popular, aren't you paying out the wazoo?
I don't mind having the studios pay a lot of money for them. So like right now we're in the process of doing the best-selling game of 2025 and it's getting super expensive. But the more money a studio spends, the more likely they're going to want to make the movie.
Oh, that's a great one. We used to say in the old days, get them pregnant.
Yes.
And then you get to a point where you've got to bring that baby to term because you've got a lot invested in it.
Yes. So I don't mind it when it costs a lot of money.
That's very interesting to me. What are you really excited about right now that you've got? What are the next hits going to be coming from Roy Lee?
I would say Zach Kreger's next original film is starting production early next year. And that one I'm not going to talk about just because it's one of these things like Weapons when people see it. And it is my favorite script he's written.
Holy cow. Again, a man not prone to hyperbole. Is there anything in production right now?
Possession is another one that's in prep. It starts production in 2 weeks.
Now, will you go to the set?
I will.
How much will you go to the set?
Maybe a week.
Is that regular for you? About a week on set?
Yeah, I've been on, yes.
Yeah, I try to tell folks, and we've had a lot of producers, as you know, on my show, and it's like, if you're going to create a big slate of movies, it's very hard to be out for months and months producing a movie. That's why I asked you the question earlier, do you executive produce? You said it doesn't matter, but what I meant to ask was, is it important for you to be on the set every day, to be in every casting session, to be in the edit bit? And it's not to you.
No. If you have...
In fact, you couldn't do the volume you're
Yes.
doing if you were that guy.
I work with people who are much smarter than me within my company and partners on projects.
Who's a director you'd like to work with that you haven't?
David Fincher?
Have you met with him?
I have.
David, if you're listening, let's get that going. I'd love to see what you do with Fincher. I think he's one of the most talented filmmakers of his generation, clearly.
I think I'll have something that he'll want to do in the next 5 years.
Wow. You mean something that you're working to get or something that you just think the stars will line up finally?
Something I'm working to get.
Yeah. What excites you other than movies and so forth? What's your kind of leitmotif? What gets you going? Like when you have downtime or when you are not thinking about films?
Well, in the past few years, I started building custom Lego builds.
What's one that you've done that's like crazy?
I've built a bunch of Calvin and Hobbes.
How big are they?
Like 300 to 500 pieces.
That doesn't sound that intense.
Well,
300.
I've built a 10,000 piece.
That's what I'm getting at. And do you buy those?
You buy the instructions on Rebrickable, and then you upload those parts to the Bricklink, and then they send you these huge bags of parts.
How long does a 10,000 tile Lego sculpture take?
3 days.
That's it? For 10,000 pieces?
I mean, I just built it last weekend. So
do you destroy them then? Or do you save all of them?
I'm going to be putting them in my new office building.
I was going to say, because your wife's like, probably get them out of here.
Oh, yeah. If you saw my office, it's a lot of things that my wife had already told me to get them out of the house.
What's Roy Lee's superpower?
I never really thought of that. Having good common sense, of being able to make good decisions and being able to capitalize on situations whenever they arise.
What did you learn from a mistake that you made? Because I think it's really important to unpack for particularly younger filmmakers or people getting into the business where they can say, if someone had told me this going in, I would have saved a lot of time. If someone had given me your tracker, as opposed to having it done manually and making 8 hours turn into 30 minutes.
I wouldn't change anything I've done in the past to get to where I am now.
I don't say something that different from that. I really don't. Because it's all the perfect path, isn't it?
Yes.
It all gets you from one to the other, and even the mistakes. I often say, and I don't know how you feel about this with your own kids and so forth, I tell it to the boys that I have helped co-parent. I say, it's okay to make mistakes, but it's not Groundhog Day. You don't get to make the same mistake again. You learn from it and press on, but own it, live it, understand it, and then don't do it again. You feel similar to that philosophy?
Yeah, but I can't feel like I made that many mistakes. Like things that maybe little things, but like
what are you most proud of?
I guess having the library of films like Barbarian to It to Lego, just having movies that I'm very proud of.
What are you most proud of in your personal life?
My family and everything, that we're just living a very comfortable and happy life.
You a good dad?
I am.
What would you tell that young filmmaker starting at graduating from NYU or USC or anywhere, coming into the world right now? They're getting out. They want to be in the film business. And they want to find that differentiation that Roy Lee found. What should they do?
Well, everyone would say just make your passion, but I don't think I would say that to everyone just because some people shouldn't be making movies. And it's only the ones that are super talented and can tell a story should be making them.
But everyone thinks they are talented and everyone thinks they can make them. So what would you tell someone coming out into the world? I think I'm thinking of it like, what would I say? I think I'd probably say have a network of people who are like-minded. Get in a group of people that you can be creative with, bounce ideas off, try to make something.
I would say make a short. I think that's what the next generation of filmmakers are going to be using AI or some sort of tool to show a narrative way of telling a story that is going to get them attention.
You watch shorts?
I watch lots of shorts.
You do? Have you ever asked for a meeting with a filmmaker because of a short?
Yes.
Wow.
In fact, the movie His House was from watching a short called Tickle Monster on YouTube and contacting him on YouTube. And after the movie was made with New Regency, he won a BAFTA for Best New Filmmaker, and it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow. Now, I'm not accusing you of anything, but I'm asking the question, why did you not get Obsession, and why did you not get Back Rooms?
I met with Kane when he was 16. I just didn't think that anyone would finance a movie for a young person like that.
You saw the talent?
I did.
Damn, boy. You did.
He met with a lot of producers.
I know, but I'm saying, so you did. But you didn't, did he have that script?
He did not.
Were you envious that they made it, that it got away from you? because those were so successful?
Of course, I'm envious, but I'm very happy that it happened. I'm glad.
I am too.
Every producer, whenever somebody else has a huge hit, they're envious. There's no question about it. But it's just like you just want to work harder to find your thing.
How competitive are you?
I'm fairly competitive, but I feel like if I really want something, I'll always get it.
God, you're really something. AI, before we break, I can't not talk about it. I have some very strong feelings about artificial intelligence. I say that it's inevitable and it's here, and we have just scratched the surface. What does our business look like in 5 years in terms of AI?
Yeah, it'll bring costs down tremendously.
How?
The visual effects will be nowhere near what it is from last year or the year before.
Have you ever run an analysis on what do you think it would actually save percentage-wise on a budget?
It depends on what type of movie you're making.
Well, let's say we're making The Ring today.
It would have saved 20 million.
Really? I don't know what the budget was.
60.
So it would have saved, wow,
because I'm just saying
a third of the budget.
It would save a lot of money on the VFX. And it's not necessarily like if you input what you need done and it makes it so that it's more streamlined and done quicker with less labor, then it's going to save.
Other than visual effects, where else?
I've gotten projects where it's like the animatics are all done. The storyboards can be done that way.
What about readers?
Readers, that's where I think it's going to make Hollywood suffer, where the current junior executives are less likely to be reading scripts as much.
I agree with you.
And they won't be able to see what a great screenwriter can do.
What about actors?
I don't think you're going to be seeing a lot of AI generated actors. You might be seeing actors be in situations where they look younger and appearance wise, or maybe a body double's been used.
But they do that now with CGI.
They do. It's just going to be a lot cheaper.
But the thing I want to say is I have sort of a disagreement with that. And I want to preface it by saying that I think we're going to see more of a bifurcation of what I'll call the cinematic arts versus the commercial arts. And the commercial arts are many programmers, things that are more fungible. And whether it's soap operas or whether it's, and I mean no disrespect to soap opera actors, I just know that the way in which you churn that kind of thing, or a movie that might be, and many of the movies that I made for Lifetime, for example, can be done with artificial
verticals as well. Those
verticals, come on.
That's going to be the first wave of AI
right,
generated.
Of course. It already is,
yeah. Starting
already. So I'm saying, do you agree with that assessment of this idea of commercial arts versus film arts?
That's true. I was just talking about the cinematic movies.
But if you look at the whole
landscape of
exactly.
content, if you're saying just content and including all of the...
But that would include then also art direction and production design. Those things would be highly affected. It's such a hot topic right now, and particularly the young generation, like your daughters, I know from the research I've done, are particularly cringy about it. They really don't want to see AI anything at this. They're so cynical and skeptical about it. And those of us who have been through many disruptions, like the two of us, I think are more almost accepting that, hey, things change and the world doesn't end.
But we're in the infant stages of AI, so you could tell.
That's what I mean, infancy.
And so once it gets more further advanced, it's going to be harder to tell a difference, and the average consumer is not going to care.
Exactly. That's exactly my thought. Final question here. What's the one thing we don't know about Roy Lee?
One thing you don't know about me is...
just a little secret.
I don't like to tell secrets. I'm pretty transparent.
Well, if it's not a secret, something that no one knows about you, that doesn't have to be a secret. It just means that no one's asked you. You have a dream of something, or are you living your perfect life?
I'm living my perfect life because I'm extremely happy with everything that's going on. And I am someone who is totally content with everything that's going on now.
It's great. Well, you're an inspiration. So, Roy, I thank you so much for doing this. I know that this is not your comfort zone, and you're a real pal. And I promise, as long as you'll have me, I will be happy to work on any movie that you're ever involved with. And I hope we continue our friendship for years to come.
I hope so too.
Thanks, Roy. To our listeners, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. For more insights into filmmaking, audience testing, and the business of Hollywood, I invite you to check out my books, Audienceology and How to Score in Hollywood. You can also follow me on my social media. Next time on Don't Kill the Messenger, I'll be joined by Academy Award-nominated screenwriter and director Billy Ray. Until then, I'm Kevin Goetz, and to you, our listeners, I appreciate you being part of the movie-making process. Your opinions matter.